Is it possible that you're looking at creating a true interlocal agreement where you guys can assess what the run fee should be based upon your success? Or is it something?
No, not really. Right now, we're just looking at the actual numbers that we have.
Okay.
You know, I've talked to Mayor Brockman. If we know if we make more runs, our stuff's going to wear out quicker. If we make more runs, we're going to be out more supplies. We know that. And it's not only common sense to me. So the numbers y'all have is the numbers that have stayed pretty much current for the last couple of years that we have. I would love to know the actual numbers for the entire county. As speaking with Greg with AMR, that kind of stuff, try to get their numbers. You know, he doesn't have their numbers. I'm not sure anybody on there actually has their actual 911 call numbers, you know, for each city in the county, that kind of stuff. They can give me an idea how many numbers they make out of the county, but that comes out of the hospital and in Dallas and all over the place. So we know what our numbers are. That's best I can tell you, if I should with you.
Can I suggest a cap of 47,000?
I would like to call and go in our next council meeting, maybe go in executive session and talk amongst each other. And we maybe decide, come up with something and decide a number. Go ahead, Jeff. Is that okay?
One point, and Chief, if you could help me with my memory, and I'm trying to remember the great presentation you made
I
here.
appreciate that.
If I remember it correctly, what, like Crittenden was being invoiced for was the variable cost. The fixed component is borne by the county. So you think about the variable cost, that's what we're being charged, that's actually a pretty good deal.
And here's what we had talked about, putting caps on, that kind of stuff on our end before we ever finish this process up. Caps are great, okay? I'll just use hypothetical numbers. Let's say we come to you and say we wanted $25,000, okay? And you say, well, we want to put a cap on it, $50,000. Okay. Let's say we only done $10,000 worth of work here. Are you still going to pay us our $25,000? Probably not, okay? But if we come here and we say 25,000, okay, and we get to, let's say, 48,000, we pay us that. But if we get to 52,000, we say, we said 50,000, that's where we're going to go. So this is a very fluid number without having all the actual numbers that I wish I would have, which I don't. You know, it gives us something to work with. Like I say, the first year gets our feet wet and gets us moving. The second year, we should be able to get hard and true numbers to know exactly where we're at. Like I said, I'm meeting with everybody once a quarter, gets everybody in there speaking and talking. That way, hey, you know, we're seeing more runs in your area, less runs in your area. You know, the ARC's opened up, it's summertime. We're going to see more Williamstown. You know, get motels and stuff in your area. We'll see more there, restaurants. You know, so it's just kind of what we see in Dry Ridge now with the influx of people in the summertime coming there to stay places to eat. Any other questions?
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
We'll revisit that. Next on the list, we have the interlocal agreement with the Grant County Fiscal Court with road snow removal. Municipal Road Aid Corporate Program.
We approved that ordinance.
We already have a second motion on that approval. We need to get with Chuck and fiscal court and sign that. Have you wrote up anything on your part?
I thought you all had the local agreement.
We did.
Okay.
Did you have one?
I sent those to Patty Conrad because I thought it had to be written up on your old end.
Okay, Stephen probably has it.
Okay.
What was the amount you put in?
I don't think we set an amount because we didn't have amount set in the other one. And we were going to try to model them off that. But I think that's the same thing with the road, or for the law enforcement too. I sent that one and the road department.
Yes, you did. And Stephen Bates has those.
Okay.
But he was dealing with Pete prior with Pete being here, so. Have you talked to him, Alex, Stephen Bates?
I have not.
Okay. I'll have him reach out to you then.
Thank you.
So what did y'all want to do on the amount? We're gonna keep it the same?
Yeah, that's what you and I had discussed.
Okay. I know we've talked about a couple of times, I just want to make sure that's what it was.
And that's the same document for 7 million.
Right.
No changes was.
No. Next is the interlocal agreement on the law enforcement. Stephen has that as well, Steve Bates.
Yes, the one that Megan sent.
Okay, I think we don't just discuss
I've
that.
never seen it.
Can we get a copy of that sometime, Mayor? Megan?
The only thing added was the stipulations that the committee had came up with.
That's just a rough draft.
That's a rough draft.
That wasn't even. So at the next meeting, can we get the updated copies of all of these, the fire department, what is ready to be signed, so that we can actually see what was added or deleted?
You on that? Any more questions? As we move on to the next on the agenda, our new code enforcement officer was hired. We had 3 to apply. And I'd like to introduce Wanda Hammond. She's our new code enforcement officer for Crittenden. And we thank you, Wanda, for applying for that.
Thank you.
I had 3 resumes. Council, if you guys would like to look at those resumes and see the difference in the professionalism that Ms. Hammond's had with the other 2, I think you would agree that she would be a great asset to the city. So thank you, Wanda. I appreciate it. Next on the agenda is the Stanley House update with the burnout fire here. Mr. Sanders was good to put some police tape around that house. I've called him several times, and Ms. Wanda has spoken to him. Do you want to explain to the council and the public what's going on with that house?
Absolutely. I spent about an hour today talking to Patrick Stanley about the property right across the street. And where we are right now is an illegal problem, which I spoke with the attorney tonight. He is going to have to get a hold of Steve Howe. Apparently what had happened, it was a lease to own by another individual that they just found him last week to get him back to court because he had paid so much in on the house that it is partially his as well. So it really isn't Patrick Stanley's for him to try to take care of the issue right now. So we are in a court battle. So when our attorney gets a hold of Steve Howe, we've set a date. If the gentleman does not appear in court, then Patrick is responsible, and Patrick has already taken bids, and hopefully we'll have that house removed, we hope in the next month. So I will push him, of course, but we know how the legal program works. I told him this is top priority on my list and this community. That is the biggest complaint that I've gotten so far. I've been on duty now for about 2 weeks, and it's the eyesore of that home. Not to mention what happened in the home, and that we all have to drive past that, and you have new people moving to your home, and we absolutely don't want that home here, and we're going to have it removed. So I will be working closely with the attorney and with Steve Howe and with Patrick to get that done. There's a lot of other things that I've been working with as well, and I want you to know that as my job, it's not to go out and write citations and take the money away from the people of Crittenden. That is not what I'm here for. I am here to make sure that we're going to be safe and have this place beautiful to live in for our community. That is the goal of the code officer. And you know, just to walk up to someone's door and greet them, to let them know your yard hasn't been mowed all year, and you all have seen those yards. You know, somebody's got to be the bad guy, and I'm going to be the bad gal, I guess, at times. But you know, the program is to get the resources to these people if they need someone to help them mow. we're gonna do that for them. We're just not gonna go out there and say this has to be done in 7 days or 10 days. We're gonna work with them. If junk cars need to be moved, we're gonna work with them on that. We're gonna give them the time allowance, and we're gonna work with them. So I look forward to the challenge. It is going to be a challenge, but it's also, if you care as much as we all do in this room about the safety and the public, that we all take care of the people in this community, I think we'll all work well together, and I'm up for the challenge. And never hesitate to call me or the office here. It is a part-time job. I still have my other job, but I promise you, you get your money's worth out of me for the salary you gave me. I'll be out and about getting the job done on my off days, and my phone is always open. And if those complaints come in, I will be to see those people right away. That is what my job will be, and we're going to be professional and hopefully get this the city cleaned up. And they haven't had to do that in a few, so it's like I said, there's a new kid on the block. There's a lot of new kids on the block here, so I think it's just that we're all going to work together and do what you've set before us here with these ordinances, and make it all happen for beautification and safety of the city of Crittenden. Thank you. Yes, sir.
One question.
Yes.
Is there anything stopping us from right now just knocking that house down, scrap it?
Legally, we probably can't get on the property without the property owner, correct?
So when reviewing, answer your question, it's a great question. When I was reviewing your ordinances, you actually have, it seems, 2 ordinances in conflict. You have a nuisance ordinance that allows the mayor, in her own interpretation, to determine what is sightly and what is not, and what's appropriate and what's not. And then in 2017, so you didn't repeal that nuisance ordinance, which is interesting, but it didn't get done. 2017, the Code Enforcement Board came on, which gives due process to property owners, so the city doesn't get sued by doing things it arguably may or may not be able to do. And it was my understanding today, I learned that the Code Enforcement Board's never met. They've never issued a citation, which is kind of remarkable that somebody implemented the Code Enforcement Board, I mean, as you should, most places do, but they've never actually met or had a meeting. So the answer is that due process is really, unless it's an emergency situation where police powers kick in, I mean, some would argue that that is an emergency. I mean, no doubt about it, kids and people can get inside and hurt themselves.
My question is, if it's a safety issue, which it has to be, we already have a crew right down the street. Let's take it down, put it on a dumpster, lean the property, and just suck up the law.
There's a process and a way to do it, though, is part of it. And of course, Juan was talking about the issues and the conflict that you have between property owner and perceived property owner. Candidly, I don't believe that you should care about their little dispute between the two of them. That property has a titled property owner, regardless of who it is. Notice should be sent. You should plow on with making sure that somebody does their job and bring it down. However, the building inspector, I assume for the county, is who has jurisdiction at least to determine if it's safe or not. But if they determine that in their opinion it's unsafe, then they can of course bring it down that night or the next day. But those are decisions, I mean, you have the rules and books to do it, no question. It's just about how to exercise your authority to do it.
I've contacted Tony Ashcraft, and I think Magistrate Humphries has contacted him as well, I believe. Am I right?
On this property?
Yeah, on the Oakwood.
On
And that's
Oakwood,
another
on Oakwood.
burnt down house, and they said the fire marshal said no, the human resources said no, they couldn't do anything about it. Somebody owns that property, we have no business to get on that property, so we have to go through that due process, I believe so, John.
Has anybody contacted the insurance company on that Stanley house?
Well, he had insurance, he didn't have insurance. He had insurance, he didn't. So we are in the process of trying to find out exactly about that. So.
I have asked him for a copy of that insurance, and he knows that, but he said he's never heard of that before, and I said, well, our attorney said we need a copy of it, so.
Because I think the insurance company's the one that actually puts the bill for tearing the house down.
And I will tell you, we checked with Brian Maines and also with the KSP today, and that house has been cleared of all kinds of investigation. So it's ours, ready to take down. There is nothing about, illegal because, someone died in the home. That's all been cleared by both the Sheriff's Office of Greene County and the Kentucky State Police.
Now, Pat Stanley, I got a bid, Todd, from the guy that's tearing down the trailers, going to Wilson Trucking, and he didn't want to pay him with $1,000. He said he couldn't even take it to the dump, and he'd lose money, you know, for $1,000. So, because I gave Pat his name and said there might be somebody, he's gonna be right there with all his equipment, and then maybe he could take it down, but, I think he just, you know, he just wasn't gonna do it for that price, so maybe they're still negotiating, hopefully, and they can do it all at once, it'd be wonderful. But we'll, you know, we're just trying to stay on top of it.
I will tell you that there is already a meeting set for June the 11th at 6:30 with my commission, and they were all notified today, and I spoke with each one individually to attend that meeting so we can start. So there's already been, I will back up too, I rode with Jeff. There's already been cards sent out to several homes in this community. A lot of them have complied. 12 letters have gone out, 11 of them have not complied, and their dates are up. To be fair, I don't think it's fair for me to go out there and write them a citation when we've just changed hands with them. I'm going to go out and introduce myself, but to let them know that you did have a letter, and I'm going to give them another 7 days to get in compliant of the things that they need to do, which that happens pretty quick. And then after that, the citations, you know, will be written. But I